right, Bob?
Okay, so
Take
it
a
is
breath.
February 13th, on a Tuesday evening at,
Monday.
I'm sorry, Monday evening. It's a whirlwind here.
Jesus.
It is 6:05 in the evening, and I'd like to bring this meeting of the Douglas Board of Health to order. And we have on the agenda, Waste Innovations. Is that correct? I don't have my
Correct,
glasses
yeah.
either. Kurt Waters?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry about everything here.
Oh, no worries.
Thank God for Kristen.
We've said that a few times, huh?
Yeah, quite a few. How is everybody, by the way? All well?
Hang on there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I don't live on the other side of town.
I know.
That wasn't long for you.
That yours?
No, I stole that from you.
Oh.
I don't have a real pen, I got a fancy fake pen in my fancy notebook.
So Kurt came in and spoke to me about solid waste, recyclable
Okay.
hauling.
And would you like to present?
Sure. First of all, this is Nick. I brought some of these, you guys can take one and pass it around. It's got my card and it's got just some breakdowns of what we do and how we do it. This is Nick. He's our general manager for our Worcester market and our Fitchburg market. So with the sales and the ops, we work hand in hand with everything, so I thought it'd be a really good idea for him to be here with me as well.
Yeah, I got plenty of experience with similar transfer stations. We, just as an example, we serviced the town of Millbury's transfer station. We did the town of Littleton, town of Hanover, a few different, municipalities in the area. I also sat on the town of Millbury Recycling Committee for a few years as well, so advise them in different aspects of their town. And I operate some of our company's hauling assets in the area, as well as our post-collections assets, which is our transfer stations, C&D processing, recycling facilities, et cetera. So I'd like to advise Kurt whenever, and certainly the town, on anything we can help with, so.
Great.
Yeah, so after, obviously, and we both live here in Douglas, so,
We do, okay.
we feel like it's always in the best interest if somebody can help the town out,
Absolutely.
if it helps us not to pay as much taxes or whatever, then that's always a good thing, right? But anyway, regarding the transfer station out here, what we do obviously is we do commercial and industrial and residential trash and recycling. So in my capacity as outside sales exec, I handle everything, but I don't get involved with residential. We have other people that deal with that. So, but I'm mainly in commercial and industrial. So I do everything from your front load can that's like out here in the parking lot, everything to the heavy duty stuff, compactors and open tops and a lot of different applications regarding, industrial type stuff. So, and one thing I know what we like to do is we're what we call a curb to grid company or a waste to energy company. So, and what I mean by curb to grid is we keep full custody of everything that we haul. So meaning from the time we pick it up to the time we take it to one of our, whether it's recycling, we take it to one of our MRFs, which is a recycling center, and we handle it there, or we're picking up our trash and then taking it to one of our waste to energy facilities. And there it's being transformed basically to energy, putting back out on the grid. So,
Okay, one question before you go any further. You say you really focus on commercial type disposal,
no, I do
Okay, but-
commercial and
but
industrial.
residential, in other words, does this transfer station fit into that category?
No, so when Kurt's
No.
talking residential.
I'm
he's-
talking toter pickups.
Like,
and
it's
stuff.
like you would have at your
Okay.
home. This
Okay.
certainly
Yeah.
falls under what we would call industrial.
Industrial,
Okay.
yeah.
Or municipal, really, but yeah.
We have other
Yeah.
folks that would handle like residential
Yep.
stuff. You know, I just don't sell that side.
I see.
I'm a commercial and industrial guy, so.
Okay, okay.
So what we do is, you know, I've been looking at this transfer station for a long time.
Okay.
And,
From afar?
yeah, yeah.
A bunch of us
pretty-
have.
Pretty much, yeah, so, but you know, in the way I look at things is, and Kristen and I had this conversation about what we do is single stream. So I'll start kind of with the recycling. We do single stream recycling. And so what BP has had the town do for all these years is you guys have been separating everything, where we can basically combine everything. They call it single stream, they call it commingle, there's several different
Is
things.
that the type of situation they have like out in Northborough? Where the rubbish seems to, it separates? Is that?
I'm not familiar with the Northborough facility. Are you talking on the
Maybe it's
post-process
Westboro, it's
side?
out there. I'm sorry?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about when you say
Westboro,
Westboro,
Right off
yeah.
of the Mass Pike.
Yeah, so similar, so the single stream, which Kurt will get into the waste stream there, but we take it to our facility, similar in nature, and separate the different commodities there. So you don't have to source separate it, the residents don't have to, it all goes into one stream, which in turn will, I'm sure Kurt was gonna get into this, I don't wanna steal your thunder, but it'll cut down your hauls significantly, and save some costs.
Well, he would have gotten to it if I didn't keep.
That's all right, I interrupted him too.
No, no.
But long story short, yes, we operate our own facilities that are similar to that one.
No, no
Sorry.
worries, no worries. So,
I'm confused.
See, you're
If you
interrupting.
get 10 tons of this and 10 tons of this and 10 tons of this, how can you reduce the hauls? I mean, you haul 10 tons, 10 tons, 10 tons,
Well, he's
right?
got to explain it.
Yeah, so I think, so what you have there, not to get too far into kind of the logistics of it, but you have 20-yard dome tops, or at least from what I saw when I drove by.
Okay,
And you have one, I assume, for each different commodity, one for
Right.
glass, one for paper, et cetera. So instead of leveraging those dome top containers, ideally what we would like to do is leverage a compactor, which we can figure out what works for the town or not. And you would put that single stream recycling into a compactor, therefore, instead of getting just
Okay.
an open top, you'll have a 3 or 4 to 1 compaction ratio.
Okay.
So instead of getting 1 ton on a load, you'll end up with 7, 8 tons on
And even after it's compact, you're still able to separate it at the facility?
it. Yeah, yep, yeah.
it goes on belts and
Different screeners, star screens,
Still-
belts,
Yeah.
bag breakers.
Uncompacted, essentially?
And just a side note too, that's something that we are always willing to do with anybody, basically. We do, what's the word I'm looking for? Tours, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Of our recycling facilities, which is up here in Millbury by our waste energy facility. So we also do tours of the waste energy facility where groups can come through and they do a full-blown tour and you can see how it's all produced. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we do the same thing at our recycling facility.
I mean, we're probably already compacting a lot of material that we shouldn't be compacting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's
People come in and they just,
part of that
Right, right.
and I've seen it before in kind of what we would call a site source program where every commodity is separate. It's just a convenience thing for people and they'll end up putting it in the trash instead of, so when you move to that single stream, and again, this may not be, you guys will have to decide if that's right for the town, but when you move to that model, it's more convenient and people tend to recycle more and increase recycling rates, by a significant amount.
So it's easier, right? Instead of having 4
Yeah.
bins in my garage, I got
Exactly.
1 bin.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and like Nick said, it does cut down on the amount of hauls. I mean, the couple of the reports that Kristen had sent me, we've been looking it over, and, we could reduce the hauls pretty significantly, because basically what you're doing is you're getting rid of the 8 dome tops. I think there's 8 out there. You might have a couple, we might put a couple, for example, to hold back just for spares or, something like that. But other than that, we would basically transfer into one of those compactors that's out there, right?
Right.
And then the other compactor would stay trash. So you would have 3-to-1 compaction, so you're looking at about 120 yards in a compacted container versus all the loose, commodities in separate containers. So it really reduces the amount of hauls and overall saves some cost, that's related to all that. The trash is trash, right? So it's the same thing. The number of hauls, it would all be going to a waste energy facility. So that would really not change. The only thing we were looking at is a way to reduce the town's cost in the recycling side. So, and getting rid of all the dome tops out there basically, except for maybe a couple. Your open tops out there basically are your bulk items, and big metal items. What we would recommend is we could put you basically in touch with a good metal recycling company that would pay you far more than what you guys have been getting here, so the town could make a little extra money on that side, which would offset some of the other costs as well, But looking at the credits that you guys are getting here, they're just not giving you what you're really recycling,
Right,
So they're holding back, I think, quite a bit from what you should be getting.
Yeah, and that's without us seeing what that material looks like, but from a numbers perspective, it looks like.
I guess our biggest concern is the capital investment that we'd have to make. And I don't know how that would work for us.
So I don't know, again, sorry to steal your thunder if you were going, I don't know that there would be, right? So those containers look like they're all owned by BP, the town of Douglas doesn't own them. So we would provide those containers. So from a capital investment standpoint, we would supply what?
Well, it's also how can I, well, the electrical, the infrastructure.
We would need an
exactly.
additional compactor, because the two trash compactors are still probably a must-have, and we would need an additional compactor for the recycling.
You
So we would have to
believe you need
install.
additionally- Okay, so you don't think that, and forgive me because I'm not super familiar with how that operates, but one for one commodity and one for the other would work?
I think we would need still the two trash compactors.
And
Because
additional.
they flip-flop, and there's times
Okay.
when they both fill up.
Yep.
So I think we would still need the two, so we would have to add a whole nother
One to the backside.
setup, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much where the recycling is now. I mean, if we reduced 10 containers to 2, that creates a lot of open space.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where that compactor would go, I would envision, but still, I mean, there's no electric out there, there's
Yeah.
there's no systems in place.
So really so I get where you're going with that now. So from a capital investment standpoint on the side of the town, it would really be whatever we need to place the compactor unit there. So
Yes.
concrete pad, assuming electrical's already there, you'd have to run it to a new unit, obviously. But the container and the stationary compactor itself, we would, if we move forward, provide.
But out there, you've already got three-phase out there, because that runs on a three-phase 460/30
Yeah,
amp.
three-phase
So
out
yeah.
there.
so it's a matter of just running another three-phase line out, basically.
And I'm thinking that you might need 2 compactors for your recycled materials. And the reason for that is they fill up so quickly. Half the town uses the transfer station. And so that on a Saturday morning, for instance, just one right after that, as fast as they can get there and put the stuff there.
Yeah, so
And
I'm
I'm
not sure
thinking
what
that-
that inbound volume looks like. Based on a tonnage perspective, based on your reports, you're doing about 300 ton of recycle annually, which in a compactor would equate to 50 hauls or 1 a week, which sounds manageable from a logistics perspective. I just don't know if all that volume comes in on a Saturday morning. We would manage around that, but from just strictly a number standpoint, it looks like you'd be down to 1 haul a week on recycling.
And we would have an overfill, right? It would be an open top.
Yeah, that would be our
Yeah.
intention with the dome top, or
Yeah.
we would still, just in case the compactor broke down, and we have compactor techs in-house 24/7, but something.
And that's the thing too, being our equipment, we're the ones that do the PMs, we're the ones that fix them, I'm sure you probably have a similar situation now with BP, but these would be new compactors where I know those are old, so you're gonna have a much better compaction rate. The new ones are compacting close to 4 to 1, so, these might be doing 2 to 1.
They're really not even operating properly.
Right.
They have
Right.
to push the button
Yeah,
several
yeah.
times sometimes.
Yeah,
Several
yeah.
times.
So, it's just a matter of, you're looking at like a pretty good upgrade on, because everything would be brand new coming in, obviously. It would just be a matter of kind of figuring out, you know, if you want to go the compactor rate or route with the single stream, you know, or use one and one, but if there's too much volume there, you think, then, you know, we can look at. The other thing too, you don't necessarily have to have a concrete pad. So especially with a recycle, we can put plate down, it's about that wide, it's about, I don't know, 1/4 inch thick, maybe something like that. And that's we do that during the install. So basically what we would do is the town would run the electrical to that spot wherever we're gonna install it. And then we do the wire from the motor to the shut-off switch. We wire that part.
see.
But then what they would do is put a new guide iron in and a couple of plates down. That way, basically the way it rolls, when the roll-offs comes down, it just catches that plate and rolls right down, you know. So there's no cost in the having to put concrete in and digging it all out and all that kind of thing, you know.
It's a big
And
push.
that's-
Yeah, that's a big project.
Yes, it is.
And that's really kind of what we laid out is what would be my suggestion, just having dealt with facilities like this and from an operational standpoint. That's not to say that you can't continue operations the way it is and we could still provide that service. It would just be, in my opinion, cost prohibitive to continue that way if, you know, if you decide.
We come back to this for a second.
Yeah.
What is not on here is the amount of paper, cardboard, plastic.
They have it. You
It's
have it on
not-
the
we- yeah, on
21?
We put it for
21.
21, yeah.
Yeah, on the 21, not on the 22. Yeah, that's the one you couldn't get, right, the 22?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have the
Okay.
the tonnage for the 22, or, excuse me, for the
21.
21.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's what we use to kind of break down the number of calls.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, because you'd basically be taking the paper, cardboard, plastic, and glass, and it would all be going into one container, so.
so that, again, from an ops standpoint, you know, just running that as efficiently as it can with, you know, the most cost avoidance to the town, that would be my suggestion. But again, that's not to say, you know, if the town decides that we want to keep business as usual or any different combination. We do it a bunch of different ways for a bunch of different municipalities. For example, Millbury has 8 open-top 30-yarders because they're so close in proximity to our facility. It didn't make sense for them to run 3-phase the compactors, so they just pay for the extra hauls. You know, Hanover has 6 compactors because they're so far. It's all relative, so.
So would you do some sort of a survey type
Sure.
thing where you,
Yep.
We're not far from Wheel Grader either.
Yeah.
No, so and generally what we would do, we have a pricing team, and, you know, we would put together a proposal with a financial model, and you could kind of see what that looks like.
So miles over the road matter too, when you're talking.
It does from a
hauls.
haul rate perspective, yeah, we wouldn't certainly charge by the mile, but that's definitely factored into what the
Factored into
cost
the haul
is,
rate,
yeah.
okay. And then, now you said, on average, it looked like one haul per week on the recyclables, but that's not limited, right? There could
No,
be
no, we're not,
multiple.
yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah,
could-
yeah. If you need an extra haul, there's no problem. That's the
Okay.
good thing with the roll-off,
Yeah.
you know, so.
It's really an
It's
as
fluid.
needed.
Right,
Especially
right.
up front until we kind of figure out what's best in that new process, and then we'll settle into, you know, a routine. And certainly, like, around Christmas, we do 20 hauls a week for Millbury or whatever, so,
Right.
yeah.
right, whatever's
That must
needed,
be
yeah.
crazy.
Because currently your service is on call, correct?
Yes.
You're calling ahead and, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would do the same thing, you know, and that way it just makes it a little easier. I know on some applications I've dealt with and I deal with, there's times where you can do like an on-call thing for 90 days to get a real feel of how often it's being pulled and when. And then after that, there's lots of times where I'll set up the company on a schedule. This would be something different because it's a little more fluid because of the days it's open and how many people are coming and things like that. But I've had companies where I'll set them up, you know, like every Thursday, the compactor's automatically, you know, done. But the on-call is not a problem as well, so.
So you really have been watching us, haven't you? Because is that your balloon up there? or-
Yeah. Don't shoot that one down. Yeah, I've watched that for quite a while. I've been doing this for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And a number of years ago, I stopped in and talked, and then the COVID thing took, you know, that kind of just
Oh, yeah.
took everything and to a standstill, you know, so. But I like our model. what's interesting is, you know, you got your Waste Managements and your Republics and some others, and they're hauling their trash right into our facility, you know, so, this way we control what we're doing and, you know, it's all going. And the other thing too, some of the other benefits of this is we can give you diversion rate reports. And basically, that'll show you exactly, I don't know if you're getting those now, but that'll show you exactly how much recycling you're diverting from landfills. It'll also show you like, you know, how you're reducing carbon footprints and different things like that. And there's some of the information on the card that I give you is a lot of things that
Yeah, I
we
mean,
can
they'll
show
take
you.
the MSW tonnage and they can correlate that with how many, whatever they call it, kilowatt hours or however much electricity the town generated from that particular.
Yeah,
So,
we can give all that
a lot
to
of
you in
different
reports. Looks nice and pretty for, you know.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
we're all about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with nice and pretty.
No, that's right, that's right.
Would you have any kind of idea right now as to what we're looking at for an investment?
For a
Just,
capital
I mean, I'm
investment,
not
like,
holding you to anything. I
are you
just-
talking like a cost basis annually or from a capital investment
No,
standpoint?
capital investment.
Without being familiar with the site, it'd be
Yeah.
hard for me to say. We would take care of anything that, you know, the containers, the compactors, so, you know, what does it cost to run that extra electrical line and, you know, put some plates in
Right,
or
right.
that? I'm not sure, I can't.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
The electrical part would be our part anyway.
Right, right.
Best
So I'm not
estimate.
asking you about that.
Yeah.
I'm asking you more about your, you know, what your scope of the
Service.
work.
So if the town were to take care of the electrical
Yeah, yeah.
and I guess the pad that we needed, if you will, whether that be
Sure.
concrete or steel plates,
Yeah.
we would take it from there. That is now without, I'm not familiar with what the RFP or, you know, what the terms of the agreement are. But it is a significant capital investment on our end. So, you know, likely we would want to get into a multiple year agreement. It's-
Right, oh, yeah,
so,
yeah. Well, we'd like to be in a,
I was just gonna say, I think we want to
Yeah.
see
Well,
multiple.
that's
I've seen it anywhere from 1 year to,
Yeah.
Worcester Housing is 10 years, so.
Typically with our compactors, we start at 60 months. So just because of the capital investment that
Of
we're
course.
putting out there, right? So, and to Nick's point, basically when you're talking cost, the way we break this down is we do the install, we put the machine in, we provide the compactor, you know, receiver box and all that. And then there's, the way that's broke down, it's broke down over a rental. It's just, the machine is there's a rental cost to the machine, and then there's the haul charge and the tonnage charge. So, that's the way we break it down, you know.
And
So
we would
when
present
we-
all this in, you know,
Exactly.
a financial model and a proposal.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you would
there,
see how much
to
it's
Kurt's
gonna
point, there likely would be some lease or rental associated with those compactors, but I think the amount of hauls that the town will save will be, you know,
Offset.
significant, yeah, it'll offset it and then some.
Yeah. Not to mention, I think, how much, what a difference in the cost of metal I think that they can probably get to. Because we could recommend who to go with that, to where you'd get a better dollar for what you're, you know, they would do it direct with you guys.
Sure.
And, or with the town, and you'd be making better money off of it than what you're getting
But
now.
even if that double, that's insignificant sort of compared to.
Yeah, it's
all
not,
cost
I
and all
mean,
that.
even if you were at 150 a ton on the metals, it's, you know, 8 or 10 grand a year, it's not super material. So,
but it's, that's okay. I
It's
mean,
something.
Yeah.
you know, over the course of
We're
5
cashing
years,
in
it pays
bottles.
off.
Do you have a number on your haul rate at the moment?
We don't, I mean, I could speculate, but generally that'll flow through our pricing team, so they're gonna analyze how far the facility is, what the turn time is on what our swap's gonna take, and, you know, get it to the most effective rate for the town. I would, don't hold me to it, I would imagine it's somewhere in the 200-ish range per haul. Yeah.
Are we looking to have them move forward and tell us?
Well, I was going to say that, good point. I was gonna say that if you could probably act on this as soon as possible, because
Okay.
we're really looking at, this is really important to us right now. It's tops on the list, actually.
Yeah, we've been talking about adding a
Yeah.
compactor for the recycling for a few years now, and then COVID kind of
Yeah. And
halted that,
and if you,
and then money halted that.
I don't know what the, you know, the town's capital investment situation is from a budgetary perspective, but if you were to want to buy the compactor and install it, that's fine. We do that, you know, in plenty of towns. You would
We
avoid
really
that
don't
lease
want
cost.
to buy
So,
them.
No, we would probably rent.
Yeah.
Fair.
What are the hours over there to where I might be able to get by there, like during the day?
8 to 4.
Tuesday, Thursday,
Saturday.
Saturday, 7 to 4.
So it's open tomorrow, 7 to 4?
Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
Thursday?
Yeah, Tuesday,
Saturday.
Thursday.
Okay.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, today's Tuesday.
No, then you'd be missing class.
So 7 to 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I'd like to do is get by there and take a look at everything, and especially like the 30-yard open tops, what's going in the bulk, you know, and things like that, and then just take a look at the compactors and kind of kick around where, you know, a third one may go.
I mean, yeah, we could
You know.
even go as far as having Jamie from our engineering team kind of give us a, you know, if the town wanted like a facility layout, like this works best in this space, whatever that is, so.
How long does it take to turn all this around?
The vendor that I've been leaning with ICC.
So you're talking
they're-
from like a model perspective? or
Like to get
taking
everything
stuff?
out?
To get it all in
Yeah.
and-
Oh,
The
okay.
transition, you
Yeah, so
know.
basically, the transition wouldn't take that long, and the reason is because the vendor that we've been using, that I've been using on the sales side, they tend to keep machines in stock. They build them right out of Holyoke. They've got a 150,000 square foot plant out there. And so I like to go local, and so I've used those guys for quite a while. That's a company by the name of ICC, and family-owned and operated. So typically what they'll do is they'll keep a number of 2-yard compactors in stock, or, you know, and just for situations like this where you have something where typically like a marathon machine right now, the leadway on that is 12 to 14 weeks, where with ICC, the leadway, you know, might be 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna say the worst case scenario, which is unlikely, but it would be 10 to 12 weeks.
yeah.
Okay.
So it goes pretty quick. Getting the dome tops, that would be something that, you know, they would either build or we would take care of getting those, so we'd have a couple out there for spare, and, you know, things like that.
What would we
So-
do for trash in the meantime during a changeover? That changeover, even if it took 4 to 6 weeks, that's still 4 to 6
Well, we
weeks.
take-
When is
No, we
Well,
take
no,
4
you
to
wouldn't
6
be without
weeks.
anything. What this would be coordinating with the time that BP was gonna be pulling out. We would coordinate that with the time that would happen.
Oh, yeah.
To where
Yeah.
we would have the install out there like the same day or the very next morning that they're pulling out. We would be there to install the machines.
Okay,
Hopefully the changeover would be-
okay, so we would have to notify BP as to.
Yes, and the
Yeah, our
one
lead
thing,
time is the 10 to 12 weeks, but when it comes down to the timing of actually changing the equipment out, that can get done in a day. We did Gillette
Yeah.
Stadium in half a day,
That fast,
so,
okay.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, this isn't Gillette Stadium. This is.
So,
But one thing too.
we get some
if,
fancy compactors down there.
One thing that's really important, I'm sure BP is the same way on their letters. Basically, you're gonna wanna send like a certified letter to them saying that you're basically canceling or you're going to bid. Because typically, you make a phone call to them and they're gonna either tell you, send the letter or do this or that. But it's
Yeah.
just the type of thing where you're covering yourself
Sure.
by doing a certified. That way you know they've got it, you got the receipt, and then they have the date. And it's important to put the date of basically removal on there. So the sooner that they are notified, that way they've got plenty of time. Because I think you said July 1, right?
July 1.
Would be
June
the-
30th is the end of the contract.
Cancellation, or that's the expiration.
Yeah.
So this would be a July 1 effective. So we would want to work it to where, you know, maybe they're pulling out by, you know, June 29th or whatever that falls on. So something like that to where we'd have it a couple of days. But I would be on top of that well in advance of all that, you know, from the time I know that they're going to be pulling, from the time, basically our process here, from the time I have a signed agreement from the town or whoever's gonna sign, once I do that, then I get that submitted, and then we can cut the POs basically for the ordering of the machines.
I see.
So, we like to have plenty of leeway, you know, that way, when it does come time to do the switch around, getting the 30s over here, the couple of 40s, that's no issue, and then getting the compactors here to be put in, they'll do the install for us, and they'll bring in their boom trucks and go to town, so.
Yeah, and from a resident education standpoint, if you go that single stream model, obviously there's gonna need to be some kind of, there's a learning curve there based on what they're used to. And we've done this in the past for other municipalities, but we have a whole, obviously, design, marketing, communications team, we could help you. Or we could do it, or in collaboration, we could make sure we get that out to the residents.
I feel like it'd be a welcome change. I feel like most people would, I mean, speaking from my personal experience of having to go there with the bin and go, okay,
It's a
it's a
very,
pain.
it's a very old school way of recycling, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially on
so,
a cold, rainy, windy day.
so I think a lot of people will be excited to not have to do all this sorting
I can
and,
picture the thing we hand out,
Yeah.
somebody up there was saying, phew.
yeah.
I think we would add a certain percent of people who would just start recycling, who currently just throw it in their trash
Right.
too.
Yep.
And there'd be definitely a percent there.
So they have to drive up to it? Is that what they do? And then
It would be similar to, it'd be similar to what the trash compactors are. And I drove by the transfer
Yeah.
station over here, but I didn't pull in, so I'm not sure what their
It's a
loading
doghouse
looks
with
like.
an open door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
you
it's the
park and
same.
you get out,
Yeah.
you throw your stuff in. and you-
Yeah.
Now, would the,
I know, could you put a third, like, how would you do a third one?
Well, we'd be removing some of the others.
yeah, there would be so
So-
many
Yeah, still
holes.
drive up to it.
Yeah, we'd
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
we'd have to kind of,
Maybe
that a
the
little
angle or
bit.
something, it might,
thought.
Well, actually, you'd leave the two trash where they are and just put
Mhm.
two recycles where the recyclables
Yeah, or
are.
one recycle, with a couple of dome tops back in
Yeah.
the back, yeah.
yeah.
But, the flow of traffic is important too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it does get busy, you know.
Are there any days when you guys don't haul
Sundays.
Sunday?
And we do run Sunday routes, but for an account like this, unless we had to, as part of the agreement, we won't generally run on Sundays,
We
but,
wouldn't expect
Probably
that.
okay. Monday would be, we're not open Monday anyway,
Right.
so.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the amount of recycling, and there's a lot that fills up those bins.
Yeah.
The Monday.
And if the compactor runs out of room,
I think we would
We'd have
kind
a
of,
dome
as we
tops.
go,
We'd have
feel
dome tops.
out what that looks like. I mean, on paper, it's one haul a week. But where you're almost every other day, we can hit those in between days as needed, so you're never, without a compactor, it's like, whatever that volume looks like.
Now-
what the guys try to do is to fill things up so that the hauls are reduced.
Yeah.
So the problem is that sometimes you get it almost full and you look ahead and you say, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You gotta get it hauled,
Yeah.
you know.
And we can certainly accommodate certainly for municipalities, same-day service if somebody called up and said, we run a hauling division for this area out of Worcester, right up off of Route 20, so we're like 15, 20 minutes away.
That's an advantage.
I noticed they capped that landfill in Worcester, huh?
Yes, nothing to do with us, but they did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the cost of that recycle compactor, the rental for the compactor, how does that necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Like relate to the current situation where we have these 10 dome tops that have to go out? I mean, like, cost relativity to us renting those and having those hauled away versus you guys compacting and renting the compactor
Yeah.
and the haul away.
And I'm not sure if you're renting those containers now or not, but certainly if you are, so you go from 8 rentals to 1. I don't know what that looks like. Again, I'm not familiar with
Right, you
the
wouldn't
cost.
know
Well,
our
I
cost
think you'd
side.
have to, you really, they're gonna have to really, survey the situation.
Yeah.
And we take our capital investment amount, whatever that is, 30, 50 grand, and we amortize that over the term of the agreement. So if it's a 5-year agreement, that's just, that lease amount is spread over that amount.
So maybe that's what we need. I think we need numbers more than anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we definitely do, yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Because we really want to act in probably a more modernized way of dealing with this situation. The other thing too is we've had to increase our stickers. And I think it would be impressive if
Something really nice to
Yeah.
show
something
for it.
nice to show
Yeah.
for
And I'm not
the
sure what
residents.
you're paying for the individual commodities now, because the MSW cost on a per ton basis and the single stream cost, it's not like it used to be ever since, China's national sword policy and everything. So they're similar in cost from a disposal rate perspective, but I really think the significant savings is gonna come from the hauls. And we'll obviously model that.
Right. Because hopefully, if we could adjust the cost of stickers, you
Yeah.
know,
Sure.
eventually we'd bring it down.
Yeah.
I mean, so how much more efficient do you think the newer compactors are? Those ones we have are probably from the time they were installed, right? I
As
mean,
long
that's
as
gonna
I can
be
remember.
from what was a landfill,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
90
yeah.
something maybe?
I mean, they're
It's
similar in
yeah,
in
early 90s.
functionality, it's just a matter of, you know, anything that's old and
Yeah,
used
efficiency,
that
like.
often
Be
just gets
careful
worn
how you
out.
speak about old.
I said machinery.
So as far as
It
efficiency
doesn't get
goes,
wiser when you're talking about
they're not really
machinery.
more efficient, they're just newer and better
Yeah,
in
yeah,
how they work.
Yeah.
yeah. And certainly
And
more,
they're definitely gonna,
More
they're gonna
energy
pack a
efficient,
3-to-1 ratio on a consistent basis, where now you're, you know, with as old as those machines are, you're probably not doing that. Because the rams get tired and everything else, you know, and you can only do so much maintenance on them after a while.
yeah, I mean,
It's-
what's, if you got this, you're,
Yeah, you can see the tons of most of our roads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it doesn't say how many hauls this 52 tons was though.
I mean, the compactor is typically about 10 tons a haul is what
Okay.
they shoot
I was
for.
gonna
is
say, if
around
you're not
10.
getting at least 10, then,
Yeah, usually they.
if you're getting
they
10 in
shoot-
it, it's probably not as bad as you think, but we like to see, you
It
know, 10
ranges
to
from
12.
8 to 12 hours.
Yeah, so I was gonna say,
Yeah, there's-
I see like 10 usually, but
Yeah.
sometimes 11, sometimes it's 12.
Sometimes 7, yeah.
Generally, we don't like to get, from the DOT legality perspective, above 15 tons, so anywhere in that 12-ish range is
Yeah.
really most
So-
beneficial for the town and certainly for
Yeah.
us.
So I feel like the compactors are doing pretty well considering
Yeah.
how old they are then, so it would just be newer.
Yeah.
I think the recycling would be the big advantage then in a changeover.
Would you try just one compactor for recycling, or would you?
Yeah, I really don't,
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
and
think
we
you
could
need
do it
to.
either way, I just don't think there's a necessity for two, based on the tonnage reports.
I think one
Yeah.
Especially where you're
one's
only open every other day.
Seems like cardboard ones.
overflow, but it'll pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll.
I mean, we do go through a lot of cardboard, especially certain times of year.
And we
but-
would certainly, again, leave, in the instance of an emergency, if it were ever, you know, to go down or whatever, we would have some kind of a backup, whether it be dome tops or whatever.
Sure.
we could set a couple out here, or
Yeah.
And I would
just bring
assume
them out, or.
busy weeks, like the week after Christmas, or,
Yeah.
I bet all your haulers are on
Yeah.
overtime that week and
Yeah.
just nonstop.
Yeah, not a problem.
And we have,
Not a
in
problem.
instances like that, we would have leverage swap boxes on our end. So if you were, say it was open at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you need a switch, well, we can't take that, be gone for 2 hours and come back. We would come with a container, put an empty in its place and take the full one, so you're not
Yep.
without that.
I started in the business as a roll-off driver, so I very familiar with swap-out routes. I used to do a lot of those, so.
Now, we would be responsible for the metal plate?
Well, usually it's part of the install, so
Okay.
the runners that I'm talking about, you know, they're about that wide,
Yeah,
just a
right.
little bit wider than the wheels.
Sure.
That's usually included with my, when I get my quotes for
Mhm.
installs, that's included in the package, basically, so to speak.
I see.
And so is the A-frame, the guide iron. That's all part of the install.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's factored into the entire rental
I
piece
see.
of the
I see.
machinery and everything like that. Now, I will say, there, you know, BP, say for instance, BP goes to pull out, you've already got A-frames out there, and you probably already have, you have steel down, or is that concrete pad?
Some have steel, some are.
Compactors are concrete.
Okay, do you have
But I
a,
don't know.
do you have a steel runner across there? They probably have an A-frame, I'm sure they have guide
I
irons.
feel like there is.
I don't recall anything.
Yeah,
But
but some
they're-
of them do, and I think some of them do, and most of them don't.
So more than likely, the
Yeah.
guide iron that's there, that should stay. There's really no reason for them to pop those out, because for one, it's gonna do a lot of damage to the concrete that's there, and there's no reason for them to pop those out at all. So that's something we wouldn't have to put in, because the 40-yard boxes are standard on their runners and stuff, so that would just catch and slide right down. The only thing we may have to add, which we can look when we go out there, is
Right.
to see if there are the iron plates, basically, so. which.
And that's
got us-
only for the compactor, obviously.
Yes.
Right.
The open top would stay
Right.
the same.
Yeah,
Or open tops, I think there's 3 or 4.
yeah, there's 240s and 230s, right? I think is what's out there, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How soon can we act on this?
I can get by there tomorrow,
Oh, really?
so not a problem. So
Yeah.
if you're open at 7, from 7 to 4.
If
I
you
can
wanted,
definitely
I
get
could
by
be
there
there,
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
give Kurt a
That'd
be
guide,
wonderful.
answer questions.
Yeah.
That'd be good, yeah.
Yeah, I should
Facility
give the
in
guys a
morning,
heads
but we'll
up
get
too. Was
sorted
Dick
out.
on this week or is he?
Yeah, I can stop.
He was
by
there on
and-
Saturday.
And
No, he's not on this
see what
week.
they,
So yeah, it'd be good if you could.
take some pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think next steps would be to, I mean, is this going out for, is this an RFP or what?
This was just a walk-in cold call by me.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, whether it has to be or not, I mean, we could,
I have to find, I don't know if it has to be.
because we would love to present you with a proposal and
Yeah,
all that good stuff,
or
but
not
obviously,
Yeah.
if it's gonna be an RFP, then we have some
Yeah.
different parameters to.
I don't
Right.
know-
So
I don't
depending
know-
on what that looks like from
It may need to be that
town's
way.
perspective,
I don't know.
we can,
I don't know
I
why
don't
we
know if
wouldn't do an
trash-
RFP.
So could you do a site visit without that information tomorrow and then?
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
and
for
then-
sure.
Oh, yeah,
We
that
just,
won't get that
before we
information.
Because I can take some
provide a
pictures.
proposal and
stuff.
financial model, obviously, we would need to know.
All the
Yeah.
information.
So,
Yeah, because
I
we have
don't
a
know
standard,
that
we have a
you-
standard agreement. Our agreement is built to the industry. It's not a one-size-fit-all type of agreement like some of your landscapers and that type of thing would have. Ours is designed for the waste industry. So, the language is designed for the waste industry, so. And I could, be more than happy to give you a copy so you guys could see the terms and conditions.
Sure.
Just to get an idea, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's one page. I know some companies, they've got 3 pages of terms and conditions. So
Yeah.
ours is 1 page and it's pretty cut and dry.
And don't believe it has to go out
Yeah.
to
And send
RFP,
it around
but
to us.
obviously you would have to confirm on your end. But if I remember correctly, there was a couple instances where we didn't have to with other towns, so.
So Kurt, could you send a copy to
Yeah.
Kristen?
Yes,
And she'll take care of
yes,
distribution.
absolutely.
And also I volunteer to
Nice
go with you
picture.
tomorrow
Always.
and answer questions and
Okay.
we move
Great.
over the place.
Keeps your
Okay.
mind,
All right.
And I just need to know when.
It's in my
Okay,
high school or college.
let's see, I've got to pick up my pickup in the morning around 8:30, and so I could be back out here like around 9:15, something like that.
I'm retired, I get to do what I want.
Okay, all right.
Is that too early for you?
That's what people tell me anyway.
Awesome.
I think I got a pretty
Thank you,
clear
Dick.
Yeah,
understanding.
thank you.
Yeah, and I'll send you a copy of the
Yeah.
terms and conditions so you guys can look at those and,
Yeah, I think
Um,
we'll get a feel for what that looks like and certainly, find out whether or not it has to be an RFP and,
Why would
If
we
it doesn't,
not want to
there's-
do an RFP?
well, so in an RFP, the town has to define what those parameters look like, so up front, you're gonna have to decide, are you providing the compact or is the vendor? Are you going
Right,
single stream,
right.
are you doing,
Okay.
so it certainly can do that, that just all needs to be spelled out in the RFP.
yeah, well, no, I think it's a good idea,
Yeah.
actually, because
Right.
it eliminates any misunderstandings and
Sure.
that type
It
of
is,
thing.
and frankly, I'm an operator in this business, so whether or not Mr. sells the account doesn't much matter to me. That's really what I recommend is best for the town, as a resident who hopefully doesn't have to pay extra taxes.
This has nothing to do with taxes.
Yeah, this is.
No, I know, I'm
Sticker.
like-
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe I want to get a dump
Yeah,
sticker,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to pay too much money.
Well, it's,
Okay.
it's to everyone's advantage here.
Yeah,
Everyone.
Sure.
I think so,
That
yeah.
that we get the, yeah,
definitely.
great.
And certainly, on your end, feel free to, I can have Kurt provide you with a list of other municipalities we work with. Certainly, the town of Millbury is the closest, and feel free to reach out to Julie or whoever you have a relationship with there. I'm sure they'd be happy to tell you about our
Great.
excellent service.
Yeah, that's great.
So you're thinking the cost may go down or stay the same from what we
No, I
have
think we
now?
can save you some money. Yeah. So,
Good. That's what we're looking for.
yeah, that's always a good
Resident,
thing.
again,
Yeah.
that will make the residents happy,
Yeah.
right? That's the,
That's what we
Okay, you
need.
can take your balloon down now.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
thank you for coming.
Yes, so like I said, those postcards, I hand those out everywhere I go, so, yeah, you can take that. But that just gives you an idea of what we do, and, it gives you some other information that's real helpful, you know, just on the technical side of things, I guess. So I will plan on being over there around 9:15 in the morning.
I'll give you a telephone number right now.
Okay, go ahead.
508
Okay,
498
okay.
2433.
2433.
Anything happens, call.
I will.
Everybody who's watching this.
Somebody will answer and disclaim any knowledge and
Everybody who's watching this is now gonna find called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my card is on there, so that's my direct email, it's my direct number. So if you guys have any other questions or anything before we get back together. But I'll take some pictures and we'll see what you guys got going over there, and then we'll just start kind of the, once you figure out the RFP side of it, I can still start the process on my side
As
as well.
well.
That's terrific.
but you got a copy of this also.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what?
No, I don't
took
think
four
so.
with me. Somebody's gonna have to draw for straws down that end.
That looks like what we were talking about for the RFP.
Oh, okay, okay.
Copy of what you put in the folder.
Well, this is the old
That
one.
was
This
the
is
old
from
one.
2017.
Okay,
So it's probably not even,
Well, yeah.
so like update that or something, or, yeah, however you want to do the language.
And you would redo that for us?
no, we have to do
No,
that.
you
This
have
is
to
what
redo
we would send to everybody, so we get apples to
I
apples.
understand.
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh,
But you would make recommendations as to
Oh,
what's on
yeah,
here?
for sure.
Yeah.
We could certainly recommend what, you know, based on our discussions, what's best for the town, what should be on the RFP.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we can do that for
And
sure.
then we may make changes as we try to generalize it to
Yeah.
to your competitors.
In everything that we're proposing from, you know, an RFP competitor standpoint is certainly serviceable by other businesses. It's not like we have anything proprietary in that scenario, other than the waste to energy part, curb to grid, if you will, so, but from an operational perspective, it's, you know, anybody is open to bid that.
Just
sort of
numbers.
stuff. Yeah.
So did you want this?
Oh, yeah, were you
Yeah.
giving that to him? Sorry. So, yeah, we'd be happy to help draw what that looks like, so.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you, folks.
Good, I'll be in touch with
I
you.
think it's been very productive.
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Hopefully we
thanks
can
for having us.
make the
Very
recycling
informative.
easier.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. All righty.
Cool.
Well, I'll be in touch with you soon, and I'll see you
You're
tomorrow.
not related to Jim, are you?
No.
There's a small company in Milford called Waters.
Oh, Waters Corporation?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Owned by Jim.
yeah,
He is by now a very rich man.
yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing to be kin to him, I reckon, so.
All right, have a great night.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mike.
Thanks.
Take care, folks.
Thank you. Still have to close out the meeting.
Yep.
Okay. So do we have a,
Did we pick another date? We didn't, right?
You
Yeah,
picked-
For our meeting? Yeah,
you picked a date.
27th,
Yep.
right before the drill on the 28th.
Right. Yep. All right,
So by then we ought to have some.
that's only,
Call Bob 2 days
wait a
in
minute, is that
advance.
next week?
What's that?
2 weeks.
I don't do this all the
Next week.
time.
Week after.
Yeah,
Yep.
2 weeks.
I know you don't.
I've been, actually, I've been pretty good for myself, knowing myself,
Pulling your leg out.
knowing how I am.
It's been all right.
I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
Absolutely.
Second. Don't need a second. You
All
know
in
that?
favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is closed.
Thank you.